Welcome to Bloomers in the Garden. I'm Len Schroeder.
And I'm Julio Zamora.
First up on today's show, we're going to talk about pruning flowering shrubs now to get better blooms this summer.
Did you know it's time to plant? One of our favorite flowering perennials is ready to plant. We'll tell you all about Hellebores in our second segment.
And we're going to continue on that theme about early perennials that you can plant now. In our third segment, English daisies, pansies, and more are ready to go in the ground.
In our fourth segment, we get to talk about our favorite topic, soil.
Yes.
If you want to grow something, it all starts in the soil. We'll be digging in the dirt in our fourth segment.
It's funny. I like how you did that all. In our last segment, we received a call on the hotline from a listener who wanted to know how to grow avocados. We'll give her the recipe in our final segment.
So stay tuned, and we'll be back in the garden right after these messages. Bloomers in the Garden is brought to you each week by Bloomers Home and Garden Center. Bloomers is an award-winning garden center just 20 minutes from Philadelphia. Bloomers has been providing expert advice turning brown thumbs green for over 30 years. At Bloomers, we want you to ask us every question, even if you think it's silly. We share information in a friendly, non-judgmental way that is meant to teach and spread the joy of gardening. Visit Bloomers Home and Garden Center in Washington Township, Gloucester County. For directions, go to bloomers.com, and we'll see you in the garden.
Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. Fertilome Succulent Potting Mix with EcoPeat is the perfect ready-to-use potting mix for all your succulents. Fertilome Succulent Potting Mix is a blend of sphagnum peat moss, perlite, and EcoPeat. EcoPeat is a natural wood fiber from peat bogs. When added to Fertilome peat moss, it produces a superior professional substrate with an exceptional ratio of air porosity and water holding capacity. Fertilome Succulent Potting Mix will ensure maximum drainage with ideal water retention. It's simply the best succulent mix on the market. Ask for Fertilome by name at your local garden center. Available at Daniel's Garden Center, Sumneytown Pike, Harleysville, Pennsylvania. Gasper's Home and Garden, 316 Tanyard Road, Richboro, PA. Neighbors Garden Center, Main Street, Hellertown, PA. Rhodes Garden, Delcab Pike, North Wales, Pennsylvania. Rourke Farm Supply, Elmer, New Jersey. The Bird Sanctuary at Bloomers Home and Garden Center is dedicated to the care and feeding of wild birds. We carry a flock of feeders like the Brome Squirrel Proof Feeder, which has a lifetime guarantee. Brome makes fantastic feeders for frustrating squirrels and feeding songbirds. Bloomers Bird Sanctuary has a vast selection of wild bird seed, suet, seed cakes, and mealworms. We carry Lyric, Coles, C&S, Pine Tree Farms, and our own line called Bloomers Blend. Bloomers Blend Songbird Magnet contains premium black oil sunflower, peanut splits, millet, safflower, and tree nuts. It's sure to attract the most colorful songbirds to your yard. Bloomers Home and Garden Center is located in Washington Township in Gloucester County, New Jersey. Visit us online at www.bloomers.com. When you come in, ask for Shirley Spurbeck, Bloomers Wild Bird Specialist. Mention you heard it on Bloomers in the Garden Radio, and we'll give you $10 off a 20-pound bag of Bloomers Blend Songbird Magnet Mix. You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies 1250 a.m. WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden.
Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Len and I often say,
Don't fear the shears. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Love you, Brett.
Yeah, we do. It's time to use them, but only on certain plants, right, Larry?
Right, right. Everybody, this is when you get confused about hydrangeas.
Right.
Okay?
That's right.
The big blue and pink flowered ones, don't touch them.
Don't touch them.
Leave them alone.
Please.
The ones that flower in the summer, when the white ones generally, that turn pink maybe, but they're always usually white, those you can now prune.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay? Difference between them, right? Paniculata, those are the ones you can prune. Macrophylla, those are the big round blue
Mop
flowers.
heads, yep.
Okay? Those leave alone.
Don't touch them.
Yep. So what else, Julio? And how do you, like we say this all the time. It's like, well, you prune. Now you got to prune things. You got to cut them back.
Right.
What is the rule of thumb for pruning?
Yeah, rule of thumb is 1/3 rule.
Yep.
And the reason you want to do this is because you want to rejuvenate the plant. Now I had Jim Quaggs. You know, he's our handy guy.
Oh, yeah.
And I said to him, Jim, did you ever shear your shrub roses? He says, no. Oh, Jim.
Oh, wow.
Poor guy. You know, he did it, and he thanked me for it the next year.
Yeah?
Yeah, he said, my roses look beautiful.
Get more compact, get more flowers, and it's shrub roses. But you also can do your regular roses now. But this is where you really want to cut them back so that there's maybe 4 or 5 canes coming from the bottom that are about as thick as your thumb, and prune everything back. You're going to think that you're making a mistake or what have you, but it will make more flowers in the long run if you do it now. And you're going to end up where your rose is only going to be maybe a foot out of the ground. Right. And if you do that, and these are hybrid teas, Floribundas, grandifloras, that you'll just have better roses all around, less disease problems, because that's ideally for the hybrid roses. That's what you're doing. You're trying to get rid of disease problems because you're going to allow more air to pass through, and it's time to do it now. What other plants?
Oh, yeah, we have some shrubs here that we'd like to do. Abelia is one of them.
Yes.
Okay? They need to be trimmed up.
Also no glossy abelia. And did you know, Julio? I know Julio knows that abelia is one of the longest flowering shrubs there are.
They are, yeah.
And that helping to prune it now is going to help it maintain a more compact size and be less leggy, because on its own, it can get kind of free form, and it needs a good shearing to stay nice.
It does, yeah. How many times do we hear, my plants are overgrown?
Yeah, all the time. All the time. Now,
Right.
these are summer flowering shrubs, not things that are going to flower this spring. Not azaleas. Not azaleas. Not, again, the mop head type hydrangeas, the macrophylla type hydrangeas. It's not those.
No.
Leave them all alone.
No,
And
rhodos too, yeah.
yeah, rhodos, those you do after they bloom. But these shrubs that we're telling you right now is what you're going to do. Like, for instance, butterfly bush,
Oh, yeah.
buddleia. You want to shear that now. And don't be afraid to cut it kind of hard. The 1/3 rule, go a half.
Oh, yeah.
Because it will be that much more breaks on the plant to where it'll form buds.
Yeah.
We always get people confused when we talk about old wood and new wood.
Yeah, I know.
Most of the summer flowering shrubs will bloom on new wood. That means new growth. Where other plants, like the hydrangea macrophylla, most of those prefer to bloom on their old wood, so from their growth from last year. So you leave them alone.
Right.
Same
Azaleas,
thing with azaleas.
Yeah.
So, again, the ones that we're talking about are the summer flowering, shrubs. Caryopteris, bluebird plant.
Oh, yeah. Other one.
Spirea.
Oh, yeah.
Spirea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like that.
Yeah, that's another one. Go a half.
Yeah.
Cut it in half.
Yeah.
You'll be amazed on how nice and full and rounded. And those of you that go to different places and they see where a landscaper is doing it right, and you wonder, it's like, how do they get their plants to be so mounded, like a nice little mushroom or a nice little dome? And it's because they're shearing them now. They're shearing them now. Not in the fall. Oh, nothing
Yeah.
makes me madder when I see landscapers out
fall.
there, billable hours.
Oh, yeah.
St. John's wort.
Oh, yeah, it's another one.
St. John's wort can get big and leggy. Not
All
tall,
over.
but it just kind of
Flows
flops over.
Yeah, floppy.
Hit that St. John's wort now, and you'll have those nice, pretty buttercup flowers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
I love
them.
that. Rose of Sharon.
Rose of Sharon, yeah. another
Rose
one.
of Sharon. What else do you got, Julio?
Potentilla is cinquefoil, they call it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a nice one. I like potentilla. It's pretty.
yeah.
Mhm.
That, and then there's also Sweet Spire. Also,
yeah.
like there's a variety hummingbird. A lot of people call it. Do you have that hummingbird plant?
Hummingbird,
And
yeah.
what that is, it's sweet shrub, but also the botanical is Itea. Grows just about anywhere.
Yeah. Native.
Yep, definitely. Clethra,
Plethora, yeah.
right in the same thing. I'm
Same
talking
thing.
about they're almost interchangeable,
Yeah.
except
okay.
Itea can grow in the water.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Any plant, potentilla, you just said.
Mm-hmm.
How about Vitex? Vitex is a native that can get big,
Mm-hmm.
but if you cut it hard, you're going to keep it to a nice size.
Mhm.
So, if it blooms in the summer, that's when you're going to cut it. You're going to cut it back now.
Right.
So if blooms in the summer, you cut it back now, and don't be afraid to hit it hard. The rule that we said is 1/3.
Yeah.
Do 1/3 of the plant, cut it back. The ones that we mentioned, like spirea and certainly
butterfly.
Buddleia, you can cut back in half, and it will flush out and be nicer. But you got to take a judge too. How is it? What's the form like in the landscape?
Sure.
If you cut it back in half and it's going to be smaller than the plants in front of it, then you do that 1/3
gotta look
because
at
it's still going to grow.
Mhm.
It's still going to grow. And in a good landscape, these plants are designed and it's known that they're going to grow. So you just do it. You'll be amazed
Yeah,
on
don't be
how
scared about
better everything looks.
Yeah, we don't we said, don't fear the shears because
That's right.
you can't kill them, right, Len?
Well, you can,
Well,
but
if you
more
go,
than likely,
you won't.
it just yields a better plant.
Right. Yeah.
Anything else to add, Hul?
Yeah, I'm thinking about cutting back the crepe myrtle that's in church.
Yeah.
And, it's gotten a little out of
Is it
whack,
out of control?
out of control. Yeah, they haven't done it in years. So
It's time. So
It's
there you go.
time.
There's another one.
yeah.
Again, the crepe myrtles. Cut back those crepe myrtles, and
Yeah.
it'll help. Any spruce trees that you have, it's also how spruces are so low to the ground that their branches are killing the lawn or they're killing anything under. Now is a time where you can get in there and clean those up. So that's another
one,
tip.
Mhm.
Another tip.
Yeah, and don't forget to clean those your shears too.
Right.
You don't want anything getting disease on it.
Right.
And that's going to be critical. So from the get-go, make sure they're clean.
Yep.
And clean them from one plant to the next.
That's right. That's
So
right.
Keep a heads up on that.
All right, so don't fear the shears. If it flowers in the summer, go ahead and prune it back. And if it flowers in the spring, leave it alone,
don't
or you're
touch it.
cutting back all of those flowers. Often we get that same thing. It never blooms. They never bloom, and it's because your husband's out there cutting it back, and
That's
he's
right.
taking all the flowers off because he's just cutting everything back.
Yeah,
So if it flowers in the summer, cut it back now.
yeah.
All right, that's
All
it.
right.
Got a break. We'll be right back right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. and we'll see you in the garden. You know, some of our most frequent questions revolve around organic container gardening for houseplants, annuals, and of course, vegetables. Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor Blend organic potting soil is a lightweight soil mixture made with salmon, blueberry, lobster, and other composts, as well as calcium and chitin-rich lobster shells, sphagnum peat, perlite, and kelp meal. It is a great soil. And Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor organic potting soil is rich in organic material, creating lush, disease-resistant plants that require less watering, less feeding. Its rich, dark brown color provides the perfect balance between water retention and drainage needed for healthy plants. Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor Blend organic potting soil is available at these local retailers.
Forcelati Brothers, Rivervale, New Jersey. Calgo Gardens, Freehold, New Jersey. Tony's Farm and Garden, Windsor, New Jersey.
Your next houseplant is waiting for you in Bloomer's Home and Garden Center's greenhouse. Bloomers recognizes that houseplant choices are as important to your interior decorating as the fabric on your couch. The right plant, paired with the perfect container, can bring a dynamic change to your home. A houseplant brings life to your world and connects your home's interior to the greater outdoors. Even a small succulent placed on your coffee table has a way of connecting your living room to the Amazon rainforest. How about an air plant in your kitchen? Looking for an indoor flowering plant to add color to your plant palette? Bloomers has a large revolving assortment of flowering beauties. From aglaonemas to ZZ plants, Bloomers Greenhouse is stocked with your next favorite indoor plant. Bloomers carries a large selection of pottery and containers to match your home's decor and make any of your plants more beautiful. Bloomers experts can help you care for your plants and have the fertilizer, insecticides, leaf shine, and specialty soils you need to grow healthy and happy indoor plants. Visit Bloomer's Home and Garden Center's greenhouse and make every room in your home a living room. Visit bloomers.com for more information. That's bloomers.com, and we'll see you in the garden. You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB, and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies, 1250 a.m. WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden. Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. I'm Len, he's Julio, and we love Lenten roast.
Yes, we do.
They are also known, most of the time, they're known as Hellebores, but that can be sometimes intimidating to say. Just think of hello, boars.
Hello, boars.
And then you'll get it.
That's right.
They used to be boring to me.
Yeah.
You know, a couple of weeks ago we talked about them, and the fact that they flowered, but you could never see it because it was pendulous and it was hanging down.
Mm-hmm.
So you saw the backside of the bud and not the actual color of the flower.
That's
You'd have to lay down and look up.
That's right. So you had to lay down on the ground and look it up.
That's right.
And you couldn't do that.
Well, I could. I just didn't. Who wants to do that? They're about a foot off the ground. Not that bad. I've got enough. I've got them on benches, so I get to see the flowers.
All right.
But they're one of the earliest flowering and longest flowering, Julio. And we talk all the time because you have them planted, and I think you're surprised how long they bloom.
Oh, they last for like 4 months.
It's incredible in that they can take the cold weather. Like right now.
Right now.
Are yours flowering yet? Because they were in bud last
I got
time.
buds galore.
So they're like big fat
buds.
They can grow in the shade. They can grow in the sun, but when it gets hot, they're going to disappear on you. But they're still there. Their roots are there. They kind of go dormant, similar to some other perennials that they're still there. They're just dormant. There is a new series that's out there. First of all, the Frost Kiss series is the most impressive to me.
That's the one I have.
You have the Frost Kiss?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that it comes from a hybridizer called Pacific Plug and Liner, and the colors, they used to be pretty boring colors, like a cream almost, and now there's reds, there's pinks, lots of pinks, there's whites with an edge of magenta. I mean, it is incredible. It is incredible. And if you go out buying to your local garden center, they are going to have them. Look for these two series. It's going to be Frost Kiss, and the other one is Honeymoon. Now, the Honeymoon series are mostly single flowers. They are nice, but they're single flower. But there are some double flowers out there
double flowers.
that are
Wow.
They look
That's
almost
amazing.
like the Lenten rose, like they're told that they are. They are an impressive,
That is impressive.
impressive plant.
They're beautiful.
And again, you're going to find like Frost Kiss series. Penny Pink will be very popular. Has a nice pink flower. There is also, let's see, Pippa's Purple.
Yeah, that's different.
That actually looks more pink than it does purple. It's like one of those things. One person's like lavender is another person's pink. Glenda's Gloss is a variegated variety where it has its edges of the petals of the flower,
Oh, yeah,
like
it's
a
really
purpley.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
It is beautiful.
It
It is beautiful.
There's a lime. There's one that's lime, Illuma Lime.
Yeah, I never like lime
No?
plants because it looks like a modified leaf.
Yeah, it does.
You look at it, it's like it doesn't look like the flower, but to each his own.
Yeah.
To each his own.
So what do you like best? The pinks?
Yeah, because the pinks are more cheery.
Okay.
And that there are, again, there's the doubles that are out there.
Yeah.
There's one
amazing.
that is called French Kiss is one.
French
that
Kiss.
is a tremendous variety. And also, this kind of started, Winter Angels was a series that was
Okay.
put out by the same folks.
Uh-huh.
And it like evolved from there to Frost Kiss.
Brother.
And when we talk about this kind of thing, it's the series of plants that it's like a collection of varieties that have certain aspects to them. Let me read something from their catalog from Pacific Plant and Liner. At the first plants per bloom in spring, Hellebores demand attention. Will earn a special place in your perennial garden. Frost Kiss and Winter Angels Hellebores are a unique group of hybrids that are marbled foliage along with rich colored blooms, usually seen in oriental types. After over a decade, 10 years, folks, it's science. Julio, right?
Right.
It's
Yeah,
science.
yes.
It's science. After over a decade of meticulous breeding work plus years of perfecting propagation practices, we're able to bring to the U.S. market the most exciting group of hellebores seen in years. So
That's a big difference.
and they are.
Yeah.
They are.
That's why you like them now.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I want something like I want to walk outside and it
Right.
still be cold and see, hey, if he can bloom, I can.
yeah.
The spring is here.
Yeah. What a big,
Even though it's
what a
not
big
here.
change that is. Like you're saying, science has changed your whole aspect of how you look at hellebores.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. Go out there. You may not have them at your local garden center yet. Bloomers has them.
Oh yeah.
But it's
Tomorrow.
time. It's time because what happens is they sell out.
They do.
They sell out quick.
Quick.
Because they don't like they don't like that heat. So, garden centers want to move through them fairly quick and be out before, annuals start rolling in,
Sure.
simply because they start looking a little ratty if they're on the bench too long.
Yep, they
So
do.
go out, start
Right,
looking this
oh,
weekend.
yes.
And again, it's the Frost Kiss, Honeymoon, and Ice Angels.
And the Frost Kiss, these are evergreen, so you're going to have that foliage.
That's
looking
another
great.
It's like, people, well, no, they're a shrub. Well, they're not really a shrub, but they're an evergreen herbaceous
Herbaceous
perennial.
plant. Yeah.
Well, that sounds fancy.
Yeah, it does.
On that note, we'll be right back right after this. Fertilome Succulent Potting Mix with EcoPeat is the perfect ready-to-use potting mix for all your succulents. Fertilome Succulent Potting Mix is a blend of sphagnum peat moss, perlite, and EcoPeat. EcoPeat is a natural wood fiber from peat bogs. When added to Fertilome peat moss, it produces a superior professional substrate with an exceptional ratio of air porosity and water holding capacity. Fertilome Succulent Potting Mix will ensure maximum drainage with ideal water retention. It's simply the best succulent mix on the market. Ask for Fertilome by name at your local garden center. Available at Daniel's Garden Center, Sumneytown Pike, Harleysville, Pennsylvania. Gasper's Home and Garden, 316 Tanyard Road, Richboro, PA. Smeltzer & Son Feed Supply, Route 9, Cape May, New Jersey. Mastardi Nursery, Chester Pike, Newtown Square, Pennsylvania. Bloomer's Home and Garden Center, Hereford Cross Keys Road, Washington Township, New Jersey. You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB, and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies, 1250 a.m. WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden.
Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Well, Hellebores are not the only perennials that like it cold, folks. No. There's more that's out there.
There sure is. Now, Hellebores may be the first,
right?
But right on their heels, like, for instance, English daisies.
Oh, yeah.
English daisies, this may not sound great, but they have a leaf that's very similar to, like, a dandelion.
Right.
But their flowers look like little buttons on top, and it comes in whites and pinks and variegations, and it's lower to the ground, maybe about 8 inches, mounding, reliable perennial, and again, it's
a beauty.
It's easy to take care of. It's not like something you've got to watch all the time, or you have to prune, or you have to split, or anything like that.
Yeah.
What else, Julio?
One of my favorites, Dianthus.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, some of them smell really good, too.
They are. Dianthus, they have another breeding thing where the foliage, now, back in the day, they used to call Dianthus June pinks.
June pinks.
They had mountain pinks, they had June pinks, they had English daisies, and all of these things used to be grown in the field. And like that's what Tim and we were all talking about last week, where you dig them out of the ground and there'd be like a clump of mud that you put in your car. Now everything's grown in a container and nice and clean and neat. And the Dianthus, which used to be June pinks, have been bred, so now they're a standard. They have a similar look, but the flowers are super fragrant.
They are,
and also the foliage is blue.
Oh yeah,
like to me.
Amazing.
If in the landscape, so you have blue fescue, right? Elijah blue is one of the typical varieties. Real blue clump of grass, dwarf grass. I want to put in the Dianthus because it has the same blue color, but I get the bonus of a flower.
That's right.
And the fragrance.
Oh.
I'm going to be talking about fragrance a lot this year because I'm going to plan on a section of my front walkway leading up to my door, trying to maximize fragrance. Now, I've got to figure out how I'm going to do that because a lot of them are perennials, and they're going to be, probably 2 months that I'll have it, and then I'll have to have something else pick it up. So,
that's awesome.
I'll really only be about 3 weeks in before the other one will start. So I've got to work that out.
That's pretty cool.
Again, fragrance is a big thing. And there was an article, did you see Garden Gate magazine actually had a article about fragrance in the garden. So
that's a new aspect I never really thought of.
Really?
I mean, it's like a fragrant garden,
So that like you have pockets where, at the front of the walk, all of a sudden you get out of the car and you get hit by something that's like, wow, that smells great. Ooh. And then you walk a few feet and then there's something else. So that's my plan.
Oh, that's
I'll let you know if it works.
Yep, I'm going to see that.
Primrose.
Oh, primrose, yeah.
Primrose.
How about that, huh? I've got them in my house.
Do you?
Yeah.
Perennial? Come back?
Every year.
Tell me about them.
They're low growers, the one I have.
Right.
And they're like a burgundy, and in the center it's yellow. Really beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And sometimes they can be fragrant.
Yep.
But they are very intense color. Like a lot of times the early flowers, the colors aren't as like neon as they are with like primrose or even the Dianthus for that matter. Violas and pansies.
Oh, The toughies.
It's here, right? With a name like Pansies, it's got to be
It'll
tough.
be tough, yeah.
Anyway, that
Yeah.
with Pansies, it's time to plant, but the winter winds, like we get some cold winds in March, a lot of times it doesn't kill the plant, but all of a sudden the flower will shrivel up.
Yeah.
But it'll put out more.
Yeah.
It's time that
They'll come back.
they are. If you planted them winter pansies in the fall, you'll see that those are starting to green up and starting to get fuller. So
That's
you can
exciting.
put some in now.
Yeah,
but
it's pretty cool.
the problem pansies, they will last, but once it gets real hot,
You're
they're
done.
going to disappear. They're done. But nothing looks like a pansy
No.
when it's in there. It looks great.
Yeah, that's beautiful. We
What
love
else you got?
pansies.
Well,
Okay, we got Tiarella foam flower.
nice.
Yeah, that's a pretty one.
Nice.
Isn't it,
Looks kind of like heuchera because the leaf
does.
has that variegation.
It
it's
does,
that
yeah.
the veination is like almost like a burgundy color. It's a green leaf,
Green leaf
but
with a little burgundy on it. Yeah, I
yeah,
like that.
that's
pretty.
that is a nice plant.
Yeah.
That is a nice plant. Rock foil, which is a red plant that it's more of a ground cover.
Yeah.
It's more of a ground cover. So there's a lot of ground covers that you could choose from this time of the year. But keep in mind that they're ground covers. They're not going to be. They've got to put them in the front of the landscape bed or the garden, so that they can get seen. Otherwise,
They're not
they're
gonna be
never
seen.
going to be seen.
Yeah.
So just keep that
Strategic, yeah, you got to
in mind.
watch.
That in mind. But Julia, is there anything else you can figure?
Boy, I think we hit quite a bit here.
Right.
And the thing is to, get these in because if they're available, they're beautiful. And you get that plant, you get your colors earlier than just sitting, having nothing at all.
Right.
There's nothing more than just a green garden.
Hey, green is all right.
Yeah.
I think it's the color of the year a couple of years ago.
Is that what it was?
Aubrietta is another one. That is a blue flower. Looks
Yeah, it looks nice.
yeah, very nice. Very nice.
Now we get mountain pinks, they're kind of early-ish. But, they come a little later.
April, May.
April, May, yeah.
Yeah,
These are
early enough to be before annuals like, impatiens and begonias and snapdragons and all of those other things.
The other things, yeah.
So they are more popular. I planted some last year because every year I went to go plant them,
Right.
and they were sold out.
and
And I'm like,
going,
I missed
no.
it again. So I'm talking 2 or 3 years in a row because I had
Right.
a 18-inch width border in front of a low stone wall.
Okay.
So I wanted to have those mountain pinks as a ground cover and full of flower in front of that wall of that colonial stone.
How's it look?
I don't know.
It's
The ones I got didn't have any flowers on them last year, so I planted them without flowers. But I looked at them yesterday, full of buds.
Oh, full of buds.
It's
look at
gonna
that.
it's gonna be stunning.
Oh, that's great.
Now the rest of the landscape needs a little help, but it's gonna look good right there.
Oh, yeah.
So,
It's a little bit of work there, that's all.
yeah, anything else you can think of?
No, there's other ones, but...
Go to your local garden center. You will get greeted like you're a long-lost relative because they haven't seen customers for a couple of months.
Who are that?
And that they've got time to talk,
Yeah.
and that we're going to go into the next segment's going to be about soil.
Oh, boy. That's great.
And your local garden center can definitely help you there.
Yes.
So, all right, we're out to a
right.
break. We'll be right back right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. Your next houseplant is waiting for you in Bloomers Home and Garden Center's greenhouse. Bloomers recognizes that houseplant choices are as important to your interior decorating as the fabric on your couch. The right plant paired with the perfect container can bring a dynamic change to your home. A houseplant brings life to your world and connects your home's interior to the greater outdoors. Even a small succulent placed on your coffee table has a way of connecting your living room to the Amazon rainforest. How about an air plant in your kitchen? Looking for an indoor flowering plant to add color to your plant palette? Bloomers has a large revolving assortment of flowering beauties. From aglaonemas to ZZ plants, Bloomers Greenhouse is stocked with your next favorite indoor plant. Bloomers carries a large selection of pottery and containers to match your home's decor and make any of your plants more beautiful. Bloomers experts can help you care for your plants and have the fertilizer, insecticides, leaf shine, and specialty soils you need to grow healthy and happy indoor plants. Visit Bloomers Home and Garden Center's greenhouse and make every room in your home a living room. Visit bloomers.com for more information. That's bloomers.com, and we'll see you in the garden.
Dreaming of a gorgeous garden? Give your azaleas, rhododendron, blueberries, and evergreens a powerful boost with the #1 acid-loving plant food, Espoma Organic Hollytone. Hollytone is a perfect blend of natural, long-lasting ingredients that nourish plants for stronger roots, faster growth, and bountiful blooms. Plus, it's easy to use and safe for people, pets, and planet. Visit espoma.com for a retailer near you and helpful gardening tips. Espoma, a natural in the garden since 1929.
You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies, 1250 a.m. WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden. Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. One of Julio and I's favorite topics is soil.
Yes.
Never call it dirt.
Nope.
Everything starts with soil. Whether it's a house plant, whether it's your perennial garden, vegetable garden, your trees or shrubs, if your soil isn't amended, your luck is not, it's not, you're going to have problems.
Yeah.
Let's just say.
From the get-go.
Yeah,
Yep.
because every time we have a customer come in, they say, oh, I can never grow, fill in the blank. And it always comes down to their problems are with the soil, and that either they haven't done anything to it or they haven't really looked at it. And I don't know. One of the things you always say, Julio, is pH.
pH, yeah.
Check the pH of the soil.
So important. So important. Yeah, especially when you're growing grass.
Yeah.
And
vegetables.
And vegetables too, yeah.
And vegetables because, vegetables want a neutral pH just like your grass does.
Oh, yeah.
And you'll get an idea of what your pH is naturally if you get it tested. And most garden centers right now are set up to do a pH test. They're not going to give you that, 10-page report that says you're missing molybdenum, and you're not going to know what to do with that report either.
Yeah, what is that?
I mean, we get those all the time,
Yeah.
from here in Jersey where Rutgers is giving them all of these things that they've never heard of, and they want to get a analysis that they can't match up. If your pH is not closer to neutral on, again, the plants that like that, the fertilizer that is in the ground or that you're adding is not going to release. It gets locked up into the soil. And let me try to explain. So say you have, it's mostly with rhododendrons and azaleas.
Right.
Rhododendrons and azaleas like an acidic soil. So you're talking below 7, you're talking, anywhere between 6. 5's a little much, a little too acidic.
6.0.
Yeah, so you'd say 6.
Yeah.
Okay. I have customers all the time.
Right.
There's nothing I can do. My rhododendron and my azaleas are always yellow. How come they're yellow? They're always yellow. They're always yellow. And what happens, it turns out that their pH is so high because they're spreading lime or they're spreading something else to make the pH neutral, and it's getting into their landscape beds, and it's adjusting that pH.
That's it.
Here's one.
Uh-huh.
My hydrangeas are always pink. They're supposed to be blue.
Yeah.
And that's because the pH is too high.
Yeah.
You can adjust your pH. Aluminum sulfate will get the acidic plants where it needs to be.
Yeah.
And what happens? Our soils in this area, whether you're in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, our soils are naturally acidic. So most of the time, you have done something to the soil to make it become more alkaline. In your lawn, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But in your landscape beds where your shrubs are, that's not such a good thing.
No, it isn't.
And when we said that if your pH is off, the nutrients get locked up in the soil, that the plants can absorb the fertilizer. And that when we were talking about azaleas and rhododendrons, customers go, I keep putting fertilizer on it. I put that holly tone on it, and it doesn't seem to green them up. That doesn't work.
Oh, it doesn't work.
Yes, it does. What happened is that your pH is off, so your plants can't absorb the fertilizer.
Right. That's why you come into the garden center, and we'll help you out.
Go to your local garden centers, and no, we don't want to see you come in with 20 baggies of soil. But if you have certain areas, like you have a landscape bed where you have nursery type plants, and you have a vegetable garden, and you have a lawn, if you come in with 3 bags of soil, and what you do is you take samples of soil, and you don't need a lot, and you mix them into one bag. This is from my lawn. This is from my landscape bed, and this is from my vegetable garden. We'll do the pH for each one. And then you want to take it from different areas in that garden, in that lawn, in that landscape area, so that you get an average. And you treat it that way. But pH is key.
It is. It's key.
Now, mycorrhizae. That's a $10 word.
It is. Big word.
Mycorrhizae is a fungus that grows on the roots of plants. And think about this. All right, the roots of your plants, whether it's a house plant or whether it's an outdoor plant, they don't have mouth parts. Okay? It's not like they order a cheesesteak and they eat it.
That's right.
What they have is they have mycorrhizae, which is a fungi that's on the end of the root hairs that transitions the nutrients that are in the ground up into the root system. So it makes it so that's basically their mouth. All right. Please send your hate mail to Julio Zamora, care of Bloomers in the Garden.
Yeah, I'll talk to you about it.
Yeah. But what we're trying to get at is that the mycorrhizae is something that is important to have in the ground.
Right.
Now, good fertilizer comes. We mentioned hollytone. Espoma and almost all of their fertilizers have mycorrhizae in it, so that it helps get that plant able to absorb their fertilizer. Mycorrhizae is a good thing. Okay, so
look for that. And if your bag doesn't have it, Espoma does.
Right,
and it's going to help your plant. I mean,
absolutely,
greatly.
Go ahead and talk to your local garden center.
Right.
I'm sorry to do this, but the guy who's temporarily in the garden department because they can't find enough help, rather than being in the lumber department where he's assigned or plumbing, he's not going to know mycorrhizae from a 2x4. So go to your local garden center. It's where you get the information, and you'll only have to do it once, and you'll also save money because again, you're not killing plants.
Yeah, you're not throwing away money. Come on.
Yeah. So, all right. We're really going to get hate mail.
Oh, I know we are.
Anyway, but soil
that happens
is
a lot.
important.
It happens a lot when they come in. What's your pH? Oh, I don't know. Well, you're throwing away your fertilizer if you don't know.
Right, and therefore your plants.
Yeah, that's right.
Also, you want to put in additives to a soil amendment to your plant. Bumper crop is the absolute best.
The best.
The best that's out there. Coast of Maine. Coast of Maine has the best soils.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry,
Cadillac.
everybody.
Yep.
But Coast of Maine takes their soil science completely seriously.
Another level.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And that the Master Nursery bumper crop, nothing better.
Nothing
it
better.
has everything in it from bat guano to,
Right.
bark fines. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So you want to mix soil amendments into your soil, and you do it now because it breaks down on top of the soil as well, and then you just turn it over when you're ready to plant, and you just
You're
goat
done.
it down.
Yeah. How easy.
When you're planting perennials, you're planting shrubs, use bumper crop, and just you dig the hole twice the size of the bottom, you add half bumper crop and half the soil you dug out, mix it all around, pack it all around the roots, and enjoy your plant.
Oh, yes.
Makes it better to water. It makes it easier for it to grow. It adapts to your soil type. I mean,
Yep.
adding
You're right.
soil amendment is absolutely
Yes.
key.
It's key.
Now, I want to quick, we're coming up against a break. I want to quick say,
Uh-huh.
I got a message on the hotline about why am I having problems with this house plant? And it was because the soil that she used, potting soil, I want everybody to use a peat-based potting soil.
Oh, yes.
Avoid a heavy soil type. There are companies that are just trying to capture, some money,
Yeah, right.
and so they'll sell it to a grocery store or something else. And so you pick it up in the grocery store thinking that it's worthwhile.
Right.
It will basically suffocate the roots of your plant. So make sure just buy Coast of Maine potting soil.
That's
all
it.
right.
That's all you
We
need.
can start there, or Master Nursery potting soil.
That's right. That's all you need.
After that, what you're looking for is a peat-based mix. Okay, a peat-based mix, and then you'll be okay. But if you start using the heavy soil types, it has a tendency to just take all of the oxygen away from the root system.
Yeah.
All right, Brett's waving
Right.
his arms. We got to take a
Gotta
break.
turn.
We'll be right back right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. Some of our most frequent questions revolve around organic container gardening for houseplants, annuals, and of course, vegetables. Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor Blend organic potting soil is a lightweight soil mixture made with salmon, blueberry, lobster, and other composts, as well as calcium and chitin-rich lobster shells, sphagnum peat, perlite, and kelp meal. It is a great soil. And Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor organic potting soil is rich in organic material, creating lush, disease-resistant plants that require less watering, less feeding. Its rich, dark brown color provides the perfect balance between water retention and drainage needed for healthy plants. Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor Blend organic potting soil is available at these local retailers.
Tony's Farm and Garden, Windsor, New Jersey. Espen Shades Garden Centers and Greenhouse, Lidditz, Pennsylvania. Pickering Valley Feed and Farm, Exton, Pennsylvania. Dreaming of a gorgeous garden? Give your azaleas, rhododendron, blueberries, and evergreens a powerful boost with the #1 acid-loving plant food, Espoma Organic Hollytone. Hollytone is a perfect blend of natural, long-lasting ingredients that nourish plants for stronger roots, faster growth, and bountiful blooms. Plus, it's easy to use and safe for people, pets, and planet. Visit espoma.com for a retailer near you and helpful gardening tips. Espoma, a natural in the garden since 1929.
You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies, 1250 a.m. WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden.
Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Well, we received a call on the Bloomers in the Garden hotline asking Len and I to discuss raising avocados. Listen to what she had to say.
Hello, I'm a new listener to your show, and I would love to have you talk about avocados. Is it possible to grow an avocado, and how would you grow it? I have one seed. I'm trying to see if it'll grow. And also, when I was in the hospital, a lot of my plants died, and I had to get rid of them. And I only had one plant that survived. It was a flowering succulent plant. And I really love it because it's the only one that weathered my 2-week stay in the hospital. Thank you so much for your show. And my name is Nancy. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy, for calling. I'm sorry that you were in the hospital.
Yes.
Hopefully you're feeling better.
Mm-hmm.
If you're growing plants,
Yeah.
you must be feeling a little bit better.
A little bit better, huh?
But we're going to help you out. You know, Julio, my sisters, or my older sisters, let me say,
Yeah.
that in the 70s, they used to be like borderline hippie. Hey, it was what you did when you were a teenager in the 70s. Anyway, so they always tried to grow avocados.
No.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I remember seeing this, but did a little research, and it was.
Oh man,
I was not quite. I'm a baby boomer, but towards the end, so I didn't deal with that kind of thing.
Deal with it, huh? Okay.
Julio, you come on, fess up. You were,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway,
Yeah.
You went right through the 70s and then
did.
got your platform shoes
Yeah,
and
I did.
your gold key on a shirt.
Yeah, that's right.
Didn't need buttons because you had it open all the way.
Yep. Saturday
Did you ever
Night
grow
Fever.
any avocados?
No. I don't have the patience for it.
Yeah. Anyway. Captain Fantastic.
That's
Julio
right.
Zamora. Anyway. But the trick with it is try to do more than one. Try not to do one avocado.
Mm-hmm.
Eat 3 avocados, save the pit, make sure that you're not digging into that pit. And do 3 because you don't have success every time. So what you do is you eat the avocado and you lightly scrape the skin away and whatever's left, you wash it under water. Then you take toothpicks, and an avocado has like a broad end to it. It looks round, but it really isn't.
Yeah, it's oblong.
Yep, and that broad end is the part that sits in water. So you take the toothpick, suspend it so that the broad end is, say, covered. It's halfway.
Yeah.
And then just let it sit in a nice warm place, not in direct sun. Doesn't need sun yet.
Nah.
So it's right now just trying to grow some roots.
Yep.
When the seed sprouts, when that pit sprouts, and I don't know, 2 to 6 weeks, you're going to let it grow about 6 inches. And then, it sounds backwards, but you're going to cut it in half.
Yeah.
You want to cut it down, leave it in the water. You're going to cut the top off so that it grows a little sturdier, that you're going to have it branch a little bit.
That's right.
You're not going to have it grow 6 inches and then plant it in soil right away. You want to let it cut it, get it cut back in half after it grows 6 inches.
Don't fear the
into this
shears.
root system. That's right. Don't fear the shears.
That's right.
And when the roots have grown thick and the stem has new leaves again, then you put it in the soil. Anywhere like a 1-gallon pot or a 6, probably an 8-inch pot, maybe 8 to 12 inch, because they get big.
Yeah,
It's
they get big.
And let me make this clear: you are never going to harvest avocados from the tree, but it's going to be a nice indoor plant. It's going to want to be in full sun after it gets established. Because again, it takes 10 years to grow. It takes 10 years to grow avocados outside.
That's right.
Anybody watching the news? I am. Avocados are going to go through the roof. They stopped the importation of avocados from Mexico. So if you want to do this, you better go to the store right now and get your avocados because they may not be available. Anyway, but avocados grow as a nice houseplant, but they do like a lot of light. And if they're not in a lot of light, they're going to look a little straggly. Don't be afraid to prune them once in a while, too. Don't fear the shears, right, Julio?
That's right. Yeah, don't
So, again, and any tips? Any tips, 70s? Like, how do you walk in platform shoes?
Yeah, right. Well, very gently.
Yeah, was a disco scene all it said to be?
It was.
It was?
Yeah, oh, yeah. It was incredible.
Yeah.
Well, so much for avocados.
Yeah, we're going to stick to what we know. All right, we've got a break. We'll be right back. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB, and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies, 1250 a.m. WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden. Julio.
Oh, my goodness.
Lots to learn.
Oh, yes,
Lots to
there
learn.
is, yeah.
Avocados.
Oh, my goodness. Hellebores. I'm all excited about Hellebores. You know.
Yeah.
I'm ready. Yeah. I'm ready to go.
You know, it's like it's a new plant.
Oh, yeah.
It's like it's a new plant.
It is. Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah. Well, everybody, we will be right here the same time next week. So please listen. Tell your friends.
Yep. Tell your friend. Every time you go to the garden center, tell them you listen to Bloomers in the Garden.
Is that what we're called?
Yeah, I think
was
so.
wondering. Anyway, we'll see you right here next week in the garden.
See you in the garden.